All right. Is this working? I think this is working. Let's see. Is that gonna work? Come on, do it, do it. Let's try it again. Anything? No? There's supposed to be a weird effect happening, but it's supposed to just activate. Nope. Nope. No effect. Well, this is a good time as any to greet you guys a happy new year. Happy new year. I haven't been posting on this channel for a while, but I plan to change that this year. I hope you are all having a lovely day. You know, I hope you're having a chill, relaxed start of your year. I've certainly spent the better part of the day playing Hogwarts Legacy and like chilling out and drawing and stuff like that. But I figured it'd be a good time to start the year with like a drawing session. Just get into the groove of things. Today I'm gonna be working in Procreate, and let's actually just switch over. Boom. Hope you guys can see that. And we're gonna do a New Year's post. So, I always draw one every year. Sometimes I do it traditionally, sometimes I do it digitally. Today we will do it digitally, just like I did last year. And I think what I'm gonna do is start a playlist so that we have some music in the background, just a little bit, and we'll just get into it. And I'll be checking the chat periodically. So yeah, I hope you guys follow along and draw along. It's gonna be some chill ambient music. Ambient ambiance music or ambient music. Let me look at the chat. Hey, Vincent Sanchez. Hello, Moritaka Ishida. Dave JJ says Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Moritaka says, I'm finally doing the final drafts for my graphic novel. 238 pages to go. Holy moly. That is a lot. But congratulations. The draft is really important. That's huge. That's huge. I don't know if even I have the powers to do 238 pages, but more power to you. This is there's no time like the present to make things happen, right? Vincent says I'm working on my own comic right now. That's the spirit. That's what we want to hear. Keep it up, Vincent. And I have another question. Do you need to remove the blue guidelines before sending your comic to Mixam, or do they remove the stuff for you? Moritaka, you need to remove the blue lines. The way you see your pages, that's the way they're gonna receive it, and that's how they're gonna print it. So watch out for that. But I don't know if you're working digitally or traditionally. Either way, it has to be digital in the end because you're gonna have to send them a PDF. So. What I'm doing right now is I'm gonna do a bunch of thumbnail sketches. Actually, I should probably just make a couple of squares here and see if I can come up with a composition I like. And then, yeah, see what's going on. And my thought process for this is I'm thinking doing something again like a tarot card. So I do like the Fool. The Fool is in the tarot card, the Fool, we have it's the first suit in the tarot, and we usually have some dude walking off a ledge, and he's holding all his belongings like that. So that's kind of cool, right? The Fool is usually it represents the blind trust that you you take at the beginning of a new venture, right? When you don't know what's going to happen. And the fool is usually walking off a cliff, and that's why there's a little bit of a trust, because, you know, you could die. You never know. But it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. You never know. But it's there's usually like a dog. I think the symbol structure is there's a man and there's a dog yapping at his heels, telling him like to not jump off the ledge. So, and then it's usually the sun is shining, right? And there's like a lot of stuff in the lower part. So we can do something like that. The option one would be to have a character who's sort of like straight on, you know what I mean? Just walking straight on. The problem with straight on with this type of thing is it's hard to see that it's a ledge, right? I mean, you can do it, right? We'd have the dog here, boom, boom, boom. But I don't know how visible it would be, how clear it would be, right? And you know, with these things, obviously, you know, you put more detail into it, it can get clearer and clearer. But you want to have a certain level of clarity even in this sort of thumbnail state, because people look at things very fast and they you know, they need to process things very quickly. So if you have a good read even in like a thumbnail stage, it helps a lot. So I don't know, I'm thinking something like that. Side view is probably a little better. And then we have our character, as usual, walking off like that. Oh, Vincent is asking, is it okay if I sort of copy this? Yeah, sure. You know, draw along. These are all like exercises, right? So, as long as you're learning something, or you feel like you're learning something, I think that'd be good. So yeah, the second one is sort of a side view, and I've turned the character this way. His head will be sort of profile, right? And he's walking off. We can have the dog still there. You know, the cool thing about this is because I decided with tarot, which literally I thought of as we were talking, you know, we get all these elements already. So there's a lot of stuff to draw already, so... I kind of like that. Let's try another thing. We could do like an upshot, which is like as if we were looking up at the top of the cliff from somewhere down here. So you can imagine there's like the camera angle is you're the viewer there, and then you're kind of looking up, right? And then that would mean I need the shoe there, and then the other foot's there. And the person is sort of walking off a cliff. And then I need to like, I guess I can scoot the dog over here. But it's probably better on this side. Compositionally. Something like that. Bark, bark, bark. And, you know, you'd have the sun up here. All the trees here. And probably some trees down here to give a sense that we're looking at it from the bottom. You know, you need some objects kind of blocking, or giving you kind of those perspective lines. You know, where it's going into it. I don't know. This seems like a little complicated, and I don't know how exciting it would look, but it's an option. The other way is... Oh, I mean, we could do... What if we did like a straight on, but also combined it with a bit of this worm's eye view type thing? And, like, you'd have the cliff here, right? But then I'd have a a foreshortened foot somewhere here. And then his other foot sort of here, and then the dog is there. So it's actually kind of more of a down shot. So we're seeing all this stuff in the background. And there's the dog. And all his belongings are on his back. Yeah, the fool jumps off. He's almost like a hobo. You know, he's got that packet with all his belongings. Because the fool jumps off with everything he owns, right? He risks everything, hoping for success, right? Not knowing what lies ahead. And sometimes it's you know, it can go badly. Sometimes it can go really well. I kind of like this one, the straight on one with the foreshortened foot. I don't know what you guys think. I might just go with the side view. This seems a little complicated. But it could work. Okay, so let's see what happens. I'm gonna copy this, close that layer, paste, and I'm gonna scale it up so that our thumbnail is now sort of the size of our canvas. That'll give me a general guide, and I can kind of start to compose things here as we go. About that big, maybe. All right. Make that a little invisible. Switch this a little this way. And I'm thinking we should just start going into pencils. Vincent's asking, is this character blind or can they fly? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm making this up as I go. Sort of a sketch session. A blind thing could be cool though. You know, that reminds me of like the tarot card Justice, right? Or, you know, it could work. I don't know. Let's I guess the first step is to get a rough drawing down, and then see how that looks. And as I'm drawing this, I'm feeling the forms. You can see I'm sort of like, you know, I'm creating cylinders. You know, I'm creating spheres. Right? I'm creating like geometrical forms just so I can see how it's sort of landing in space. And that helps me kind of place the heel. And I like the character having a bit of a twist in his pose. We're still working out gestures. I don't think I'm ready for details yet, but I'm gonna try to get the hobo thing with the belongings behind. The question is, well, how would that pole look? I guess it would look like that, right? I'm not sure what the other hand's doing though. Yeah, I think they're like happy. Happy and joyful and completely trusting of the universe in this moment. And the Fool is interesting because he as a card there's a sense of like fear disappearing. You know, fear is the mind killer. But like fear is the root of a lot of ventures never coming through, right? Because people aren't willing to jump off that cliff or walk off into, you know, the risk manifests itself and becomes a little too great. So the Fool kind of reminds us that, you know, not so much reminding us of the reward because the Fool doesn't promise any rewards, um, but reminds us of the childlike carefreeness that that's required for doing anything which involves going to the unknown. You know, you're risking certainty. Um, and that's a hard thing to do. You know? All right, so I'm thinking there's this schnauzer that I always hang out with. I'm thinking of drawing him here. He looks kind of like Snowy from Tintin. Is that balanced? Question. Something like that. All right. Something like that. And then the cliff, I think, you know, triangles always signify danger, so I'm going to make sure we get that triangular. Triangular composition. And then down here, I'm gonna put like rivers, right? Maybe houses. That type of thing. And castle. And we're gonna make the perspective a little bit weird here. So it's like the world drops off. There we go. And like I always do, I always throw papers like floating around. Because I always think of like comics pages and stuff. So we can throw some papers there. Alright. I think that's good as a general sketch. Now we go into refining. So I'm gonna make that transparent. And we're gonna get in here and really work out some details. Oh, Moritaka says, I've been really enjoying the Procreate's new animation app, Dreams. It's so accessible. That's awesome to hear, Moritaka. I actually have... I bought it, and I've been playing with it a little bit. And actually wanted to do a video on it. It's a really beautiful app. I love the interface. I love that they're pushing into like new frontiers, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm really curious too where this is gonna go. I want to have I want to like put as many skill points into it as I have in regular Procreate. But that's gonna take a bit of time. Plus, like, I want to animate the intro of my channel. That'd be super great, right? Because right now, that is animated, just sort of like, with a very simple effects control thing in Premiere Pro. But it would be nice if I actually had a traditional, well, digitally made, but traditional 2D animation style thing where I had like a frame by frame, right? BTRIBB asks if I could give some tips on anatomy. Anatomy is so BTRIBB Bitrib. Anatomy is a whole cave to explore in the whole art journey world, you know. You know, one of the things people just recommend outright is to draw from life a lot, which really helps with learning. But I think what's even better is, you know, do some classical life drawing models, life drawing style sessions, which is to say, there's this site. It used to be called Pixel Lovely. I think now it's called Line of Action now, right? And if you go there, they have this archive of reference pictures for artists, and they're like people doing various poses, right? Standing up, running around, jumping, all this other stuff. They have a huge library, and what they do is you can use it on your browser, and it cycles through those images on a timed basis, just like you would in a timed life drawing session. So I recommend doing something like that, and doing it regularly so that you really get to practice drawing the human body, you know, in 1 minute poses, which are very gestural, and you don't have a lot of time for detail, which is good because you're focused on, you know, the overall impression. And then building up to like 15 or 20 minute poses where you have a lot more time to like refine the look and to get into like the nitty gritty of the anatomy, you know, the appendages, drawing fingers and all that stuff. Man, I'm really struggling with this foot, huh? Okay. We'll go back to that. It's a real... Because it's a little foreshortened, so it's really tricky. One thing I always like to do is flip my drawing to see if it's reading well. And like I'm looking at that now and I'm like, I really do want the foot to sort of point up like that. I just have to make peace with the fact that this won't be super comfortable and it'll look wrong to me until I stop drawing it, and 2 days later I look back on it, I'm like, okay, it actually looks fine. It just looks weird right now. Yeah, but getting back on the anatomy topic, you know, there's a lot. First off, I think the important thing is learn gestures, right? Gestures is like the stick figure version of things. You know, you'll have like a single line of action, and then you'll kind of draw your figure from that. And it usually looks very messy and weird, but it has a lot of energy, right? and then you'll move on to like, you know, you'll get that gesture, right? You'll get something like that. And then you'll start building in proportions out of it. So you'll start thinking of like how big the rib cage is, right? You'll draw that in. The torso, where the joints break, right? Where they turn into knees and then like ankles, and then move down and around from there, right? And then once you have that, you'll start drawing in like more complex shapes, how the anatomy looks, the clavicle, start putting the muscles in, and just, you know, go from really broad and simple to complicated and specific, right? Or should we say general to specific, which I think is a really good idea, regardless of what you're trying to learn, like anatomy, composition, you know, even if you're drawing tanks or cars. It's really helpful to always go with the broad impression first, and then save the details for later. The devil's in the details, and that's usually a warning to kind of like not spend too long on them, or not jump to them immediately, right? Details can really can spoil you as an artist, because it feels like a lot of progress is being made, but if you lay a lot of details on top of a wonky general drawing, no amount of detail is gonna save that drawing, right? It's still gonna look pretty bad. All right, I think my figure's okay. I think I've got the pose down, and that foot is okay now, I guess. I wish there was a way to push this pose even further. It still feels a little stiff, but we'll go with it. I'm also thinking of what he's wearing, right? Right now he's like more or less whatever, naked, but I want him to have something cool to wear. We'll figure it out later. Let's keep going with the dog. I love drawing dogs. I'm a dog person. Are you a dog person or a cat person? Say it in the chat. Although I am slowly becoming convinced of cats, because I inadvertently taught my algorithm that I like them, and so I keep getting these cat videos, and cats are pretty funny animals. And I used to have this impression that they weren't, you know, friendly. You know, they weren't affectionate, which is what I love about dogs. They're like constantly affectionate in general. But, you know, there are plenty of cats out there, it turns out, that are just super cuddly and want to hang with you and want to chill with you, you know. All right. So that's sort of working so far. I'm not loving this background, so let's kind of build into it a bit. Hey Vladimir, welcome. Beast Comics is a dog person. Yes, to the dog people. Oh, thank you, Beast Comics. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. You know, YouTube isn't like my number one priority. I always say comics is my number one priority, but YouTube was sort of my It was my quarantine project. I started it during the quarantine to sort of like help me keep sane, and it just turned into its own thing. But what's been really gratifying about it is meeting a lot of people and being able to share a lot of stuff. Um, and just kind of sharing that perspective, and it's turned into this weird record of my journey, because like when I started YouTube, I was still on a student visa. um I My art was okay. I was sort of like, still learning a lot of stuff, and I hadn't done any mainstream projects. I hadn't done my first issue, Secret Heart Attack, or any of that stuff. So like, as the channel grew, like I just tabulated and recorded everything that I was doing, and it's turned into this kind of lovely little video record of like how things have been going for me in the journey of like being a comics creator. It's a weird rocky time. It's been really gratifying though to hear comments like that. I like you know I want to be the YouTube channel that I want to watch. I always wanted to like interview comic creators and ask them like why they do this or do that. Like just get more of a peek into like the behind the scenes, because I've always been in love with, the medium and what people do with it. So hopefully that bears out. And if I do my job right this year, because I think things are calming down, I'll have more time to make videos. Hopefully, I can streamline the process a bit and make it more sustainable. But like, as I have more time to make videos, I really want to share more stuff I've learned as I go, because I think it's just, it's really helpful. If you want to make comics, just to get a little sense of like what it's like behind the scenes, what it takes, that it's not as glamorous as you might initially feel, but it's still very rewarding when you can get into it. John Falloon, Happy New Year! And Silver Phantom LX, hello, Happy New Year. Thanks for popping by on our New Year's Day live stream. Vincent says, I'm concentrating on being a YouTuber that makes comics like you. That's cool, Vincent. Yeah, it's hard. It's weird. It feels like it's like two completely different things, but I'm trying to like use YouTube as a diary, as a journal. And make sure the comics is first. The comics comes first, and the comics fuels the YouTube, and not the other way around, right? Because I do like video editing. I really enjoy that. And the process. I think what I hate about YouTube is actually filming it. I had to get over this like being on camera thing. I even made a video about it. I think it's called Insecure on Camera. It's like my second or third video on the channel where I talk about like how hard it is to like talk into the mic and like look at people and look at your ugly face or whatever. All your insecurities come out. But it gets easier over time. But what I really enjoy about making videos is the editing part. That's fun. I could lose myself. It's very time consuming. It actually is the part that feels the most like making comics, drawing comics especially, right? Where you sit down and then you're like, it's an 8-hour session. It just goes by super fast and you're like, la la la. Tweak this, tweak that, add a little border here, make things, if you have like even a little bit of like an obsessive compulsive streak, it can really come out there, because the level of control you can have over the process is great, and it's so complicated that it stays interesting even as the hours while on. All right, okay, I think this is sort of getting there somewhere. I do want the sun there. I don't think I'm gonna draw that. Or I might draw like a stylized sun. Make it a little more witchy. Something like that. Oh, I might do that. That's kind of cool. So yeah, so now that this sort of like the general structure is here, now I can do the fun sort of detail work to make this look weird and interesting. And we're gonna go into color, so bear with me. Or, you know, jump off and hop back in later to see the color stage. But first I want to get some cool details in. So we're clearly doing a weird fisheye perspective thing. This is fish-eyeing into here, but also this down here is fish-eyeing into here. And you're meant to think of it as like, there's actually it's better if I go in red. As if like the perspective is doing that, and then like doing a precipitous drop off down here, which works really well with the cliff idea, I guess. I don't know if it reads super well from a distance, but you know, we're gonna trust our impulses and just go with it. Okay, wait 1 sec. I'll just grab something and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. So yeah, the perspective's kind of doing that. Boom, boom, boom. And actually, it'd be nice if I had some, I don't know what they are, but objects to sort of make it feel perspective-y, you know. This is my my mentor would kill me for this. I'm just eyeballing everything, but I think it looks cool. Right? We eyeball when we're too lazy to construct. Because I could grid this out, but this would be like insane. This would like legit look weird, and like all the perspective lines would be all over the place. Okay, I think that's fine. Now I want to go into to inks. Let's start inking it and putting in details as we go. So I don't know if you can see the background with that, but So I kind of like the idea of like a bit of a cloak this time. And do something like that. And I actually want to do like a... Do I want to do a jacket? No, I don't want a jacket. I want to do like complicated pants. We'll do complicated pants. We'll leave it the shirt as sort of like a simple thing. Let's get this hand in so that, you know, because this is one of those things that if I get it wrong, it's gonna throw off the balance of the whole picture. All right, more or less that. And I'm gonna do like a weird thing like that. So it's like a staff or a nice stick basically that he found and then turned into a carrier. Moritaka says, I eyeball everything and it somehow works out. See, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it works out. A lot of the times it works out, you know. It just, you do get in trouble if it's something really complicated, then, you know, certain things your brain can't really eyeball, but for a lot of things, you know, you can rely on the general impression of things to carry you through, hopefully. And you know, it helps if you know how to do it in the first place with, I mean, constructing it. That way you're kind of like using that in your what's in your head, you know. You're using your experience to carry you forward as you do an imprecise but well-meaning approximation. Give him a watch. I think a cool watch is good there. Let's make this higher up. And I want like a kick-ass belt. So we're gonna give it like Galactus shapes or something like that. Kirby shapes. Boom, boom, boom. Something like that. And then I was thinking maybe like a drop pant, honestly. Drop pants. No, not drop pants. We won't do that. We'll go with a tight leg, but flare it out as we get to the like military flare or something like that. As we get to like a bit of a boot. And then I want the boot to have something slightly complicated. Yeah. There we go. Something like that. And it's funny, as I put more details in, the parts that bother me look less and less awkward, and look more like they're falling into place. Some things just don't look good in the broad sketch of it, but once you if you trust your construction well enough, once you get into the details, it starts to look good. Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of Hogwarts Legacy, and all these weird sort of like Victorian steampunky magic-y aesthetics are like seeping into my subconscious. Squishy Style is asking, is there a second issue of Secret Heart Attack? Yes. There is, and I'm working on it, and I'm so sorry it's taken so long. I had meant to release it in 2023, so last year. But, life got really busy, and it had to take a back seat. Whoops, sorry. Uh-oh. One sec. Sorry, my brother was calling. But yeah, to answer the Secret Heart Attack question, it took a bit of a backseat to a lot of other projects, but and also because I had to move and I got sick, and I was like in 3 different countries. Life got really crazy, and I had a hard time like giving it the due diligence. And since it's like it's a project that's super near and dear to my heart, and I want it to be really good, and I wanted to like really perfectly express as close as possible what I have in my head. I sort of let it sit and waited to let life calm down so I could get back to it. But I've been working on it. I literally worked on it on the train this morning on the way to the gym. It's on its way, and I have some really cool pages. Just you wait. It's gonna be months, so it's gonna be a little while before I get there. But I think I have like 7 full pages done. It's gonna be 20 something pages, so yeah, it's gonna be a minute before it comes out. But when it comes out, I hope it'll be worth it. Issue 2 is where all the crazy stuff happens. I mean, like 3 or 4 times the amount of crazy stuff that happened in issue 1. We get to meet all these new superheroes. We get to see a bunch of like procedural stuff, like how to make comics and stuff like that. And it's the hardest of the 3 issues to make. The middle part in any project is always the hardest, because beginnings are, they're messy, but like they're full of energy. that carries you through. Endings are, they can be easier because they're clean, and if you did all the setup right, it just sort of like writes itself towards its ending. But the middle part is where you have to do all the work to like tell the story, make all the pieces match up, and then set yourself up for a good ending. So it's a bit of a struggle, but I hope it'll be worth it. I feel like it'll be worth it. It's just such a cool stuff's happening. I don't want to talk about it too much, but like there's a lot of cool stuff in store for issue 2. Oh, I'll show you the first page. Can I show you the first page? Spoilers. Don't look if you don't want spoilers. So I have the first page somewhere here. Ah, there it is. Okay, that's the first page. Right? That's what it's gonna look like. So it's a lot. It's a lot. But hopefully worth it. Alright, let's get back to it. Alright, this is sort of happening. I'm not sure I like this cloth thing, but I don't know. Should I just take it out? No. Trust. It's fine. We'll keep it. Okay, so that I would want this thing to still make a shape. I don't know. The scarf's gotta make a shape somehow, so there's a flow. Maybe just there. Yeah, maybe just there. All right, there we go. Okay, so main figure's done-ish. I feel like he's lacking something, but we'll come back to it as we go. I feel like a lot of what I might feel like I'm missing will happen in colors. I'm just tossing stuff in, whatever, shapes, images. It's a sketch session, so we don't have to be super strict. And I'm not looking at any reference, so it's sort of whatever comes to mind there. Okay, that, and then the hobo thing, we'll keep that there. And then have all his belongings in a knapsack behind him. There we go. Okay, and then the dog. The dog! We love dogs. Man, there's just something about drawing dogs. Like, they're just so pure. There we go. John Falloon is asking, how is Hog Leg, by the way? You're playing it on Switch? No! I wanted to play it on Switch, and then I saw all these comparisons between that and the PS4, and I was like, maybe not. But my brother bought it for me on Steam, and I'm playing it on a Steam Deck. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I have to say, what's interesting about it for me is, with these open world games, I always think of them as like a bit of almost like a mini game collection, right? They populate the world with a random spray of, not random, but like a thoughtful spray of like various interesting things to do. So like in Zelda, you have like the Korok finding mechanic. right? Just lift a rock and you'll see like a little tree spirit there, and that's its own mini game because you collect those Korok seeds and you can trade them in to like increase your inventory and all that stuff. So it's great. And then you have the shrines, which are these like puzzle buildings peppered throughout the land, and you have the enemy camps and little treasure chests, and then you have caves, and then you have all these other things. And if you think of each individual type of thing you can do as a mini game, like, you know, it all adds up into one like wonderful ADD fest where you just go nuts doing whatever. And I have to say, like, Hogwarts Legacy has a ton of stuff to do. It's quite overwhelming, honestly. Like, I feel like it's just you're never gonna run out of things to do in that game. I feel like it's just so much content. And I read that it cost like $140 million to make, so you know, I can see the money in the amount of stuff that's come out of there. And the other thing about it that's really interesting to me is, like, you know, Legacy got really snubbed by a lot of the video game critics this year, which is, I mean, 2023 was a banger year for games. You had Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, you had Diablo 4, you had Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2. It was just like so many things happening at the same time. So, you know, it's not too out of the realm of possibility that Hogwarts would be overlooked. But I just think, given the quality of the game, it should have gotten a bit more of a nod. And I wonder if it isn't like influenced by J.K. Rowling's, like, you know, questionable politics, you know, the whole turfing anti-trans stuff, which blew up on Twitter, which is obviously very encouraging of that type of thing. But what's weird to me is also, like, I'm playing Legacy, right? Hogwarts Legacy, and there's a trans character in there, Sirona, and she is like a really one of the more well-rounded and thoughtfully played characters. She has a whole backstory. They don't hide the transness of it. They actually talk about it quite frankly. And it works really well within the world of Harry Potter. So I figured this is really interesting because I don't think Rowling would have approved of it. But, you know, it was kind of the developers, in a way, trying to balance out all the drama that Rowling had caused. But yeah, the game is great. The game is just it's so much. It's so much. I am I have to stop myself from playing whenever I start playing it because there's just so much, and I'm learning spells. Whenever I learn a new spell, suddenly there's a new mechanic, and it's just it's awesome. It's so awesome. All right, so we have the dog there, and let's get this cliff moving. I wonder if would it be better if I just painted this? I feel like it might be a more efficient way. I don't know. I don't want to paint the sun. I think that sun is too cool. So let's do the sun. Quick line. We'll make a circle. Boop. Something like that. And let's move it somewhere there. I think that looks good. Yeah, I want the sun to have sort of a linear look to it. And the other thing, like, apart from Hogwarts Legacy, I also bought during the Steam sale Spider-Man Remastered, which I've never played. So I'm really excited to dig into that. I just don't have time. Like these open world games can like really suck in all your time. I was just very like attracted by the idea of having like a pocket New York that you can swing around in as Spider-Man. Right? That would be super awesome. But I haven't started it. And really this year I'm trying to honestly I'm trying to cut back on the gaming a bit. I feel like I gamed a lot as like a comfort crutch last year because like there was just so much life stuff happening and it was getting, you know, it was like my only solace. But I want to be better about making like drawing my comfort thing if I need to run and, you know. And I know it's hard because it's also kind of work, you know, the drawing stuff. But I don't know. As I get more and more pro gigs, I feel like it's important to nurture a good relationship with your art so that it doesn't become this whole, you know, thing that you dread doing. Like I always want to be excited and happy to be doing this thing that I've always wanted to do, you know, and I always want to be grateful that I get to do it. And sadly that isn't always the case with people who go into the art form, right, and start doing it professionally. Sometimes the monetary exchange makes it a chore for people. And that can be really tragic. So yeah, less games this year. Less games. I'm playing Marvel Snap on the train. That's another game that's like super like that's a weird one because it's like 3-minute game, so it fits really well into the spaces in your day when you're waiting for stuff. And there's like a new season starting tomorrow, and I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But I'm trying to not be too addicted. Oh, and I also played this Christmas. My Christmas like cozy game was Hello Kitty Island Adventure on Apple Arcade. Oh my god. Can I just say I did not expect that game to be as good as it turned out to be. It was quite good. Like I learned a lot about the Sanrio characters and that whole universe of cuddly, cute, weird Japanese anthropomorphic characters. And it was a good vibe. It was a good time. You know, just very cute and sweet and low stakes and cozy, collecting coconuts throughout the island, trying to make gifts for your friends. That was fun. Yeah, honestly, there's too many games. There's too many games to play. Elden Ring was my game of the year last year, even though it didn't come out last year. That was I played that March. I started it in March and I finished it like 100-something hours in March. I completed all the achievements. It was just pure crack, like super addicted. It ruined my life a little bit. But I'm thankful to have played it because there's nothing quite like it. You know what I mean? There's nothing quite like it. Elden Ring was the best. John Falloon says, oh yeah, I got the Platinum Trophy for Spider-Man PS4. Good thing you're staying on top of time management. I've always been super impressed with your dedication / work ethic. Oh, thank you, John. It's a constant struggle. It's a constant struggle. But, you know, that's the work. Yeah, my problem really is like, I like too many things, and I think there's just too many things to like get into and you have to choose, and that's the hard part because the choice means you're saying no to something, some other awesome thing you'd want to do. But that's life, you know. C'est la vie. Yeah, hopefully I get better this year. I'm trying to be a calendar person this year. You know, one of those people who has like a very worked out calendar. This live stream was scheduled on my calendar, and I'm really proud I actually got it out on time, you know. All right, so the sun is looking good. Let's put a little like thing there. Make it cooler. Make everything a little cooler and weirder. Like, I feel like there's like a Shi'ar Imperium vibe to this sun. I just wanted to make it witchier and tarot-tier. Okay, I'm gonna put a color hold on that because that's how I see clipping mask. Let's put like a something like that. Maybe this. There we go. And I'm gonna try to pick up the pace a bit here. All right. So we have that. Let's start painting in things, right? I need like a light color. Let's do. Actually, let's just throw the whole thing into mid-tone. That way we're not. That way it's like a painting. Just build from this sort of purple. Right? Let's make it lighter. Something like that. And then let's throw in the broad darks. So I'm gonna use this brush. That's good. We'll make it like a half opacity and a largish brush. There we go. This is a I have a buddy who I met in San Diego. He's like another DC artist who's been doing short stories for DC this year. Don Aguillo, and he is doing like beautiful painting style comics, right? Not super linear. He'll still have a drawing, kind of like the underdrawing I have here, but then he'll just go straight into it with colors, right? And start painting in. And I think he does like a whole, I may be wrong, but I think he does like a whole value structure thing first, where the most important thing is like the fall of the light and stuff like that. And then he'll go in with colors later, which is like, I think that's like grisaille in oil painting, where you do a monochromatic painting first and then worry about how everything sort of glaze and tint over it as you go. Which is a really good strategy for painting. But he does it so well, and like I want to be at that level. He's so good. Check out his stuff. Don Aguillo. Aguillo. He's also Pinoy, which is cool. Cool to find out. Let's put that there. And then we'll put some of these tree shapes up here. Like that. and kind of have, I like that the tree shapes are echoing a bit of the sun shapes, like those kind of flamey jagged shapes. So we'll keep going with that, something like that. And then down here we have like a broad wash of stuff. I'm gonna make it darker because the value drops down there, something like that. Honestly, let's just use this soft brush because I think, yeah, we'll get into darker shapes when we go down there later. All right. We'll put a few more shapes here, something like that. I don't know if I like that, so we'll just cut that out. Okay. Now to get a little bit Mr. Chunk, Happy New Year! I just saw your message. Ooh, the chat really blew up a little bit. Thank you, Sean Jackson. I appreciate that. Alright, let's go into this. Like, I think a little bit more of these things here would help. Something like that. And honestly, I feel like I feel like the sun needs to be filled in so I can actually start thinking about the rest of it. So let's do that. Might need to like take this off for a second as I get the sun in place. John Falloon asks, have you read the new Dan Klaus book? I need to get it. I actually don't know about a new Dan Klaus book. What's the title? Like, let me know in the chat. I'm always down for anything he makes. Although, I don't think anything is ever gonna top Death Ray. For me, at least. We'll see. Dan Klaus is just amazing. All right, there's the sun, more or less. Boom. Right, and then now that I see that, I'm like, wait, we should put just the whole thing there. Like that. Something like that. Oh, John Falloon says the Dan Klaus book is Monica. It came out a couple of months ago. Yeah, my gosh, that wasn't even on my radar, but now it is. I'm definitely gonna read that. I think the past few months, my comics reading, like apart from the usual mainstream stuff, because I just keep up on all the X-Men books, the Batman books, and stuff like that. But I've been reading a lot of manga. And I've been reading this book called The Day Hikaru Died. I'm also reading Blue Period, which is beautiful. And I just bought both of Tatsuki Fujimoto's both of his short story books, which are great. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And I also got Fire Punch, which I haven't read the first volumes, like on that shelf somewhere there, but I've been on a manga trip recently. Just, you know, getting more manga into my head. Okay, I think this is cool. Now that that's in, I can start thinking about this guy, right? I might go a little crazy with the colors. Should I go crazy? Let's go a little crazy. Let's do that. Boom. Something like that. Something like that. And just throw a bunch of local colors in. It'll calm down later on. Maybe this is better there. There we go. That's good. And do that there. All right. And put it here. Something like that. All right, so what I'm doing right now is kind of throwing in the shadow shapes and the values scale. I realize I didn't make the whole painting like rise at the same time as the other parts, but sometimes you just gotta go with like whatever makes the best impression at the start. Like you go with like wherever the focal point of attention is, and then you move outward from there, and it helps you focus your details, you know, not get too lost detailing everything else. But now I have like a bit of shadow shape. Store the saturation on that, and what I want to do is like make this a bit of a something like that, and then do a second layer of value work on it. We'll lower the opacity on that. There we go, something like that. That way we have kind of a cell shaded look, which is a good baseline if you're gonna do like a little painterly thing later on, which is what I plan to do. I just want to have the lights and the darks in the right place. Okay. We'll jump in with the pup. I think he doesn't have to be a realistic color. There we go, something like that. All right, so that's moving in the right direction. We'll give it a little bit of tone. And then let's keep going with the background. Now that I'm comfortable with that, I think that's in a good place. Ah, this is so relaxing. So I think I am. Yeah, I am. I am just working over the broad background with linear stuff, and treating it like, you know, like there's no tomorrow. And I think what I'll do is I'll go in here and start rendering some of this in on top of that, right? That way it separates it out. From the background, I mean. It's a little less confusing. There we go. It's starting to read well, I think. At least a little better than it was a while ago. And then what we'll do is we'll throw some of these shadows in there and get a good modulation of darks and lights. Because I still want it to feel like the sun is casting its like crazy shadow on top of all of this, right? And then, well, we'll do that later. I want to throw like a yellow wash in to give it a bit more harmony, but we'll do that when I've clarified this sort of sky background. What's going on here? That one. So we'll move this a bit out. Actually, maybe we'll leave it in. Yeah, I'll leave that layer in. And I just want to clarify what's going on with this background here. There we go. Ah, so much cleaner. Alright, it's starting to come together. That's a good feeling. It's always super horrible, like in the middle part, where you're not sure, am I gonna make this work? Is it gonna work? I mean, it could still go wrong, but like, we're a little bit, like, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I just wish I hadn't chosen. Well, it is what it is. I wish I hadn't chosen that purple, but we can edit it as we go. It's fine. Procreate's got a lot of tools for messing with this stuff later on. And I want to like cut into these shapes a bit so it looks less like trees and more like an alien landscape. Honestly, I want it to feel like a bit of a psychological landscape, you know. So I want some random weird shapes there. Boom. Something like that. And then we'll work out, now that I have that. What is this? I'm not sure what this layer is. Delete. Now would be a good time to sort of work out. Some of these light shapes. I need a lighter version of, there we go. Something like that. Thank you, Beast Comics. Yeah, it's really a central style, you know, composition with the main character in the middle. So, you know, whenever you place your character dead center, you know, some people don't like that because it's too symmetrical, and you know, it can be read as very boring, but you know, the concept is sort of tarot cardy, and so there's a bit of centrality baked into the concept that you can't super avoid. I mean, we're still gonna break it up, so there's asymmetry going on, but it's still gonna feel like, you know, an inside out type image. Okay, so that's good. And then I really want like a heavier shadow coming out from under his foot. We'll throw it where the blues go. There we go. So something like that. That way. And that way it makes, I can have a, sorry. That way I can have a floating shadow here and really emphasize that this other foot is floating off the ground, right? There we go. Okay. A lot better. Now we can go in with some blue bada bops here. And I need like a hard edge. And what I'm thinking for the bottom of the cliff is kind of a lush green paradise, you know. Actually, let's throw some of this blue in here so it'll cut into it. Too much green is like, might be too contrasty. And then we'll throw in this stuff. Right. And then we're gonna throw in some of this. It's a little light. Just like a light wash of that green there. So the land he's stepping into is like almost like a paradise. I could use some really nice hard edges down there, so I'm just gonna choose like a funky brush here, maybe that, and go into this. With gusto. I'm gonna darken this a bit so that we get more of this stuff. And it's far away down there, so I don't have to like, I'm tempted to do a lot of details, but I'm gonna try to keep it detail light because it's not like it'll be very visible. What matters is the affect, like the overall impression that people get from looking at it at this distance. So right now I'm looking at that, I'm like, wait, I feel like a darker value will make it read better. All right. And then we'll throw some of this stuff up. Oh, thank you, Eternal Emperor. I appreciate that. I hope you're drawing along. So now I'm gonna do some of these. Actually, we should whatever this color is, that, and then we're gonna make it a little lighter, something like that, and flip it towards the blues. All right, and then that's what I'm gonna use here. I want like a castle thing, but like really broad, right? Because, you know, it's very far. It's far down there. But the spires will give a sense of some of that perspective, which we kind of need to sell the verticality of this. And then we'll have some, well, squares. I'm gonna throw some squares and stuff down here and like little squiggly lines, which are supposed to represent sort of a hamlet or a town budding, building all around down there. Like there's a bit of a civilization in this paradise, and it's sort of just building out from there. Right. Maybe a little watchtower over here on this side. Something like that. Maybe put some stuff up here too. I feel like we're gonna have to throw some rocks up here near the top of the cliff to really sell the cliffiness of things, but I have to do that on upper layer later on. Just gotta get... We're almost done with the bottom part of the image. And then we can do some funky color stuff. Funky color stuff. There, and then I wanted like a river. Can I do that? No, something like that. Would it look good? Have something that sort of winds its way through the ground level of this cliff. Basically, the idea is that, you know, it's a long way down. It's a long way down to that area, but like, if he makes it, he'll be okay. If he can just trust, right? All right, that's looking good to me in general. Now we go into some of the background stuff, which I've been waiting to do. I feel like we need a blue. This might be super tacky. We'll see if we like it. I don't hate it. No, I don't hate it. Okay, we'll go with this blue. And I'm using a watercolor, Max Ulickney's watercolor brush to kind of throw that down. It's not terrible. And then I'm gonna fold in some pinks, just a little bit here and there, right? And on top of that strong blue, I think a lighter blue to give a feeling of like the light radiating through, sort of Kirby dot style. I'm just sort of like blobbing it in here, but I think it gives the sky a lot of depth. All right. All right, so that's good. And then now on top of that, and I want to do a clipping mask here. I want like a yellow glow. So we'll do like a soft brush, lower the opacity, make it huge. And that's going to give us like a subtle, well, lower the opacity more. Like a bit of a subtle gradient in the background, right? We want just... we want the sun to release a bit of a glow there. And then we can go in on top with some yellows. Right. But not too much. Nothing too crazy. Just little bits here and there. And then with the sun, clipping mask. I'm gonna give it a bit of form and dimension. Kinda like that. Same with the outside. just like broad shadow shapes. And come in with an even lighter yellow somewhere here. Something like that. Will that visible? Sort of visible. Let's pump it up even further. Oop. And that'll be like our highlight. We'll put some color here. Okay, it's kind of going where I wanted. Now I want to do some more details, just for fun. Use the Baskerville brush, and I want to move this up here. Boom. I wasn't meaning to do these like pink stripes, but I did them during the second sketch, and I kind of like them, so I'm gonna just put them in. I think also they add like a level of, they help out the perspective a bit, you know. All right. And then some more of the yellow. And I kind of want this to do like a lyrical thing. Almost like like one of those architectural drawings, you know. The sun rays turn into scaffolding or whatever, gobbledygook. My gobbledygook. I think it looks cool. Okay, we're almost done. We are almost done. Let me just, I want to throw some light down there at the bottom. And I think like a nice, let's see, there's a light pen here. I'll use a light pen. We'll just do a light pen and throw a few dots down there. I'm not sure about his color, so we're gonna do. Maybe we can shift the hues a bit. Something like that. Yeah. Up the saturation. I don't know if this is translating on YouTube, but it's like a fine adjustment. And I want to throw like a white there. Something like that. Just give him some light. I don't like it. Out. Okay. Do something else. Just maybe a flat white affect at this point. Where do we throw that? Whoop, it's already 9. Oh my gosh. Time flies, guys. Well, wait. Let's wrap this up. Oh, John Falloon. John, have fun walking the dog. Beast Comics, what is your favorite color palette to work with? What's your favorite character to draw? Favorite color palette? This one. This is called No Boy. If you want to take a screenshot. That's one of my favorites. I actually like pulled a lot of these colors from a bunch of paintings, a bunch of digital art. Some of them, Michael Mundo, another amazing Filipino working in comics. It's so easy to sample colors these days too, you know. Favorite character to draw? I like drawing superheroes. They're a lot of fun. I consume a lot of superhero fiction, so you know. I love drawing the musculature, like the anatomy and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really fun. X-Men, I could draw X-Men all day. Actually, like quite a lot of X-Men fan art online. Like if I get to draw X-Men one day, that would be like the dream. I would just go nuts. MMVV is asking, what program do you use to show your iPad on screen? MMVV, this is OBS. I recommend it. I'm not the techiest person, but OBS wasn't super hard to figure out with like a few Google searches, and it does the job really well. It's hard wired to my laptop because I tried this technique before where I was using like like a projection program. I think it was called Deselector, something like that. And it did not go very well. Like the signal was wonky. The Bluetooth signal would drop out here and there, and the iPad wouldn't appear consistently. But this is like, since it's hardwired into, see that? It's hardwired into the MacBook. It's working really well. Like, I think I've been at this for like 2 hours now, and pure clean signal, all well and good. All right, so that's looking good. A couple more things, and then I'm gonna call it a night. I want to do some funky color stuff. And you know, there's always, Procreate has these weird funny brushes that you can use for special effects here and there. You don't want to abuse it because it looks really fake, and it gets that computery look. But this one, Aurora, let's try Aurora. Yeah, that's a cool one. You don't want to abuse these things, but a light touch of use here and there is fun. It looks good. It helps. So what do I want to do? Like, I want some effects on the sun, like that. What I like about Aurora, see that? It has color shifts built into the brush. So you get some really nice effects with that. So I would like to like put it here in the background. Like just a splash here and there to emphasize the sunny nature of things, you know. And you'll notice I'm zooming out super far here and there. It helps me get a read on whether, you know, I'm putting too much colors here. There, it's like stepping back from your painting. Hamish is asking what kind. Oh my God, Hamish! Hi. Is asking what kind of music do you listen to while you work? Usually, I'm on I'm on some kind of pop playlist, right? But I can't do that for YouTube, so this is like an Epidemic Sound sort of ambient chill playlist. But I usually like, you know, pop music because they're very like intellectually undemanding, so I can bop out and get like the high energy of the songs, while still being able to like think while I work. Because like jazz music, classical music, I know there are people who love that while they work, but I just find it like too distracting. The layers are too complex. They're too finely wrought. It asks your brain to like really engage with it. So pop really works well for me. Taylor Swift, you know, Lady Gaga, that kind of dumb stuff. Because you get that high energy again. And yeah. And they're fun. Alright, this is looking good. This is looking very tarot-y. I guess the only thing I'm not too jazzed about is the main character. So let's just throw a few more bits and bobs on him. I think if I threw a clipping mask on and yeah, there. Clipping mask, and then let's throw a bit of tone in here and there. There we go. So he's a little more harmonized with the background because I just think that was a little too crazy. And then a little bit of my layers. Look at that. My layers are getting crazy now. I don't know where everything is, but we're close to the end, so it's fine at this point. I'm gonna put I'm gonna take this out of the clipping mask, throw this above that. and throw a bit of a cyberpunk symbol thing on him. Cyberpunk, that's another game I want to play. Especially now that like Phantom Liberty's out and it's it seems like it's feature complete, right? But yeah, oh my god, too many games. Vincent, thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the next one. All right. Okay, so I think this is more or less done. I'm gonna call it a day. I could keep futzing around with this, but like I gotta go to sleep soon because I have work in the morning. So let's call this done. Yeah, all works of art are abandoned. I think it's in an okay place. So yeah, let me sign it. Let me sign it here. We can sign it in the ruins. It'll blend in really well. 2020, whoop, 2024. There we go. All right. And that's that. Let's look at the time lapse really quick. Time lapse replay. So this is how it started. Oops. And this is how it went. And then this is how we ended. There we go. So yeah, that's that. Thank you so much for being here, guys, for the first live stream, first Comicbooker live stream of the year. Happy 2024. I hope you guys have a wonderful and super productive year. Wishing all the best for you. And yeah, I'll be around. I'll be posting videos here and there. I'm on Instagram. Yeah, if you want to see me post super often, like I'm most often there. Yeah, have a good one. Peace. Bye.